This is the story of the lost golden city of Luxor. Not a myth, not a legend. A place real enough to walk through, yet silent for thousands of years. Imagine the sun blindingly bright, scorching sand stretching for miles, and beneath your feet, a city slept for millennia. This is not a story about treasure hunters or tomb raiders. This is the story of archaeologists, real scientists, whose discovery has shaken the world's understanding of ancient Egypt. To truly grasp the wonder of this city, we need to go back. Back to a time when Egypt ruled the world, a civilization that built monuments that still stand today. Pyramids, temples, obelisks, structures of stone and significance. But even they couldn't stop time. Over 3,400 years ago, in the height of power during the reign of Pharaoh Amenhotep III, a ruler whose wealth and influence were unmatched, a city of staggering scale and brilliance rose along the banks of the Nile, near what we now call Luxor, a city of sun-baked bricks, thriving neighborhoods, bustling workshops where artisans hammered gold and hammered out objects of everyday life, but also objects of religious devotion, where the scent of bread mixed with incense and the chatter of hundreds of residents filled the market squares. This city was not a forgotten village. It was second only in importance to Thebes, the great capital of Egypt. It was called the Rise of Aten, but for centuries all evidence of it vanished. Not by conquest, not by war, but by time itself, shifting sands, flooding, neglect, and the slow erosion of memory. For thousands of years it was buried, hiding just a few meters beneath the desert floor. Until in 2021, the unthinkable happened. It was not a dramatic expedition funded by wealthy adventurers or dramatic television cameras. It began with a mundane question born in an Egyptian excavation site. Archaeologists digging near Luxor, excavating tombs, workers brushing away dust and sand, noticed something unusual: ancient mud bricks rising from the ground, but not the walls of a tomb. These were different. One lead archaeologist, a name now echoing across history, Dr. Zahi Hawass, saw beyond the bricks. He understood that this was no ordinary find. These were the foundations of a city. This wasn't a small outpost. This was a sprawling metropolis. As more careful excavation revealed long streets, residential houses, kilns, workshops, and even food preparation areas, it became clear this was the lost golden city. The walls themselves whispered history. Yes, whisper. Every mark and inscription added to the evidence that this place had been forgotten and somehow weaved itself back into reality. But how could such a place, so significant, be lost at all? Perhaps the answer is hidden in its own beginning. Thousands of years ago, this city was founded at the peak of Egyptian power. Pharaoh Amenhotep III, often described as one of the most powerful rulers of ancient Egypt, built it as a demonstration of wealth and influence. He ruled during what historians now call the 18th dynasty, an age when Egypt was a global superpower, its influence stretching across the Mediterranean and deep into Africa. Under his reign, art flourished, religion evolved, diplomacy with other empires like Babylon and Assyria reshaped the ancient world. Yet even the greatest ambitions can be swept away by the passage of time. We know that after Amenhotep III's death, his son, the infamous Akhenaten, introduced sweeping religious reforms that centralized worship around the Aten, a sun disk, which marked a break from traditional Egyptian religion. Whether through neglect, abandonment, or political shifts, this city, once vital, slowly faded from prominence. And as generations passed, the sands claimed it. So complete was the burial that no reference survived in later historical texts. Centuries turned to millennia. Records were lost, and for all practical purposes, the city disappeared into the desert. Until that moment in 2021 when those bricks emerged, like faint fingerprints pressing through time. What makes this discovery so remarkable is the scale and state of preservation. Entire neighborhoods, not just a temple or tomb, but a full urban layout, streets, houses with rooms still intact, bakeries with ovens still in place, and even storage jars where food remnants remained. Every corner told a story, and every item became a portal into daily life 3,400 years ago. Archaeologists found tools, jewelry, pottery, objects that weren't rare treasures buried with royalty, but ordinary items used by ordinary people. These remnants gave life to the city. They revealed that this was not a place of myth. It was the heartbeat of civilization. Imagine walking where workers walked, where children once played, where food was baked and laughter echoed. It was a city alive with daily rhythms, but frozen in time. What's more astonishing is how intact the layout was. Houses built side by side, streets aligned with purpose, and balconies overlooking courtyards where families once gathered. But perhaps the most stunning pieces of evidence were the very signs of daily life. Jars of food supplies still sealed, pottery shards that reflected artistic styles of the period, and tools whose shapes matched those seen only in images on temple walls. And half-buried inscriptions hinted that this was a working, breathing, thriving center, not just a temporary camp or seasonal settlement, but a permanent city constructed with intent and design. The discovery electrified the archaeological world. Newspapers, academic journals, Egyptologists from around the world, everyone wanted to know more. One of the most striking realizations was that this city was likely the largest ancient city ever found in Egypt. For decades, the scholars had speculated about lost cities beyond the pyramids. But this was real. This was substantial. This was almost unbelievable. Imagine watching history rewrite itself before your eyes. And yet, even as remarkable as this was, some mysteries remain. Why was the city abandoned so completely? Why was it never mentioned in later historical records? How could such a thriving place vanish so utterly? Perhaps the answers are layered in the debris, stories buried by time, waiting for careful hands to uncover. Some theories suggest that a shift in the Nile's course altered the economic viability of the city. Others propose that religious and political shifts, like those introduced by Akhenaten, destabilized traditional power structures, leading to abandonment. But no one yet knows for certain. And here is where the real intrigue begins. This is not just a tale of ancient ruins. This is a story about how history lives and breathes beneath our feet, waiting to be rediscovered. We live in an age where modern technology, ground-penetrating radar, satellite imaging, precise excavation techniques, meets the very ancient world that once thought the earth was flat, the sun god ruled the sky, and the pharaoh's word was law. When the first archaeologists uncovered the walls of this city, the world gasped, and then the questions began. What else is lost beneath the sands? Which other chapters of history are waiting patiently, shrouded in silence? When we hear stories of lost cities, we often imagine treasure chests and golden idols. But the greatest treasure of all is not gold, it is knowledge. It is human history in its rawest form. Every brick tells a story. Every fragment reveals a world long gone. And the lost golden city of Luxor has given us more than just artifacts. It has given us a glimpse into how ordinary people lived, worked, and thrived in ancient times. You can almost hear the footsteps of the past, the marketplace chatter, the clatter of pottery being shaped, the laughter of children chasing one another through dusty streets. Time may bury these moments, but they never truly disappear. And as we stand today, thousands of years later, breathing the same air, walking the same soil, we realize that history is not distant. It is embedded within us. This city reminds us that civilizations are built by human hands and forgotten by human forgetfulness, until someone brave enough to question, to dig deeper, to believe that something remarkable still lies beneath. Dr. Zahi Hawass, the man whose vision helped bring this city back into the light, has said that this discovery is one of the most important since the tomb of King Tutankhamun. And in a way, that comparison makes sense. Just as Tutankhamun's tomb revealed the spiritual and ritual life of royalty, this lost city reveals the everyday life of people whose names we may never know, but whose legacy now lives again. And so we are left with a question. How many more wonders lie beneath the shifting sands of time? How many civilizations have we yet to uncover? How many stories have not yet been told? What we do know is this: history is not silent. It merely waits. It waits for the curious, the persistent, the ones who dare to believe that the past is not gone, only hidden. Because every lost city, like the lost golden city of Luxor, reminds us that the past can return when we least expect it. And perhaps that is the greatest story of all. So as you imagine that city, buried for centuries, awakened by human curiosity, remember this. History is not just about dates and names. It is about life. The lives of people who walked this earth long before us, laughed, worked, loved, and lived just as we do. And now, because someone dared to dig deeper, their world speaks to us again. This is the lost golden city of Luxor, and its story has just begun. Told by Tales by Sora,